Now, everybody, Matt Haywood here from the Star Wars Time Show, and like a lot of you probably checked out Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian, BTS, Season 2, Episode 2, which specifically covered the finale episode of The Mandalorian Season 2, and we know why, because Luke freaking Skywalker showed up in the finale. So I checked it out and I found 11 interesting facts from the documentary, the BTS, whatever you want to call it, that I just wanted to point out to some fans that may have missed them while they were watching the special, or those who are too lazy, probably like Nick, my co-host, who haven't seen it yet. So here we go. I'm just riffing here, no script. We're just going to roll with it, see what comes out of my mouth. It'll probably be all jumbly and stupid sounding, but those of you that listen to the Star Wars Time Show, you already know that. All right, so up first, I thought one of the coolest reveals was that Plo Koon was the Jedi in the script to trick out any potential leakers for The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 8, Rescue of Grogu. That's right. The reason this was done is because this is Dave Filoni's favorite Jedi of all time, as he explains in the documentary. They even used concept art with Plo. I mean, they were going hardcore Plo diversion to try and keep the Luke Skywalker is coming to Mando secret. So I thought that was kind of a cool little deal that they did. I mean, they went so far as to including like fake Plo heads in some of the dailies on top of Luke's body. So yeah, they did not want anyone to find out about Luke's inclusion, and I'm glad none of us did, because that's what made it more special. All right, up next, both John and Dave, Dave in particular, spoke how they were both aligned on the choice to bring Luke Skywalker to The Mandalorian. In fact, Dave made it clear. He's like, listen, if John would have came to me and this idea didn't make sense, I would have told him no way, and John would not have done it. But because Dave also thought that Luke was the best person to take Grogu away from Din, they were aligned, and that's how the scene ultimately came to be. All right, so number 3, something I found interesting, and I'm guessing this was done because of, how they were filming on a certain day. But if you notice in certain parts of the documentary, R2 is green, meaning his blue coloring, the blue accents on his body are green and not blue. I'm assuming that's because of blue screen stuff, but I thought that was interesting to see. Number 4. We learned in this video that John and Dave told Mark about wanting Luke in The Mandalorian before Season 1 even released. They talked about how they brought him down to check out the first episode of the season and then pitched the idea to him. But it was way back, even before Season 1 released, that this idea became a thing. It was so secret that we learned that they shot it secretly during Season 2, Episode 6. So the whole crew, for the most part, was out with Robert Rodriguez, shooting in that outdoor location with Boba Fett's, Neo Boba's return. So when that was happening, they kind of took like a skeleton crew and shot Mark Hamill on set for the big reveal in Episode 8 of Season 2. Another interesting point, maybe this is 5 or 6, who the hell knows at this point, no one really cares. But Favreau commented on the fact that, they understood that Ahsoka leaked, Rosario was playing Ahsoka, and that Tamara was playing Boba. But he really was blown away that after all this time, Luke's inclusion in the show remained a secret. And I credit that to him, his team, Disney and Lucasfilm. And thank God that leak didn't make it out, because as they say in the video, it's what made Luke showing up that much more special. None of us knew he was coming. None of us thought he was coming. So it was fantastic. Us lore people, us fanboys out there, though you'll appreciate this next one, because Filoni went out of his way to remind everyone that Ahsoka is technically Luke's senior skill-wise at this point in time. So when we see her fighting in The Mandalorian, obviously she looks like a badass. But he was more or less talking about how he wanted to see Luke to be a little more advanced with his sword training, but not over the top crazy, because honestly, who the hell would have been training him in between Return of the Jedi and now? Another interesting, enough of these, But another interesting fact from the documentary, this was the first Mandalorian episode to feature any original trilogy music. Jon Favreau brought that up. Up until that moment when Luke shows up, not a single episode of the show used any of John Williams' original trilogy music. In terms of producing the voice of a younger Luke Skywalker, this was kind of crazy, but Matthew Wood talked about how they had to use a neural network and to synth Hamill's voice from old clips of Mark Hamill when he was young. So I thought it was kind of funny that, yeah, they included Mark Hamill, but the end product doesn't include his body, and it doesn't include his real voice, and of course it doesn't include his face. I'm still glad he was there, got in the costume, was on set to kind of give his body double cues on how to play young Luke. But neural networks, like all sorts of machine learning, was used to bring young Luke to life, and it wasn't just his face. All right, another tip, rounding out here, we're almost done. They discussed how R2-D2, they used some old Return of the Jedi animations for his lighting. To signal his change in moods from blue to red. That was kind of interesting. And then finally, the last interesting point, and one that we all probably can understand, because I know it got me too, but Jon Favreau reveals that he got absolutely wrecked by the R2 moment. Not so much Luke showing up, but that moment where we all remember where, yeah, we get the big Luke thing, and we're all like, oh my God, it's Luke! Our jaws are dropped. But then R2 rolls up behind him, and I know for me personally, it worked me over. And it sounds like, based on what Favreau and even Filoni was saying, it got Big John too. So I thought that was a beautiful moment. It kind of went into how Grogu is sort of the R2 of this new era, and how people will latch onto him like John did, and myself and Filoni and other OT fans did with R2-D2. So there you go. Like I said, 11 or so interesting moments from Disney Gallery The Mandalorian, the new episode that specifically covers the Luke Skywalker finale. So good stuff. I'm sure Nick and I will talk more about this on next week's live stream of the Star Wars Time Show. So make sure you like this video, subscribe if you're not already subbed up, and turn on those notifications. All right, my friends? Because there is always time for Star Wars time. So why would you ever want to miss out? And besides, if you listen to the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you always.